Welcome back, everyone. Once again, we are here in this session, and now we will be continuing with the level 1 modeling of the MOSFET, which is also known as a Fishman-Horst model. In the previous lecture, we have seen that what is the operation of the MOSFET, and after the operation, we have also discussed about the physical and the empirical parameters which are used to model any device. And on the basis of these physical and empirical parameters, this level 1 model of MOSFET is being derived. And this is the very basic model of the MOSFET. Now, today in this lecture, we are going to derive the equation for this model. And firstly, we will be deriving the equation for the drain current, which will be dependent upon the terminal voltages and some other parameters like the aspect ratio and the mobility oxide capacitance of the MOSFET. And then in the next half of the next half of the lecture, we will be discussing about the saturation current model. So combining this linear current equation and the saturation current equation, it completes the level 1 model of the MOSFET. So now we will be moving towards the derivation of this current equation.
So firstly we will study about the MOSFET symbols. That how many symbols are there by which we can identify that the device shown in the circuit is a MOSFET. Firstly we know that MOSFET is divided into two categories, NMOS and PMOS. NMOS means it is also known as a N-channel MOSFET. And PMOS is also known as a P-channel MOSFET. So now there are several ways to draw the symbol of the MOSFET. So as we know, MOSFET is a 4-terminal device. It has gate, drain, source and bulk or substrate. So the symbol characterizes these 4 terminals. It also, for the easiness, it also has a 3-terminal symbol too. So now one by one we will see that what will be the symbols for NMOS and PMOS. Firstly I will show you for NMOS and then we will look for the PMOS. So the symbol of the MOSFET is shown like this. It's a gate, drain, source. Either side can be drain or source. The drain and source is interchangeable up till the time when we are not applying any voltage to them. As soon as we will apply the voltage, then they will be fixed. Fixed in a sense that in the NMOS, drain is always having a higher potential with respect to the source. Similarly, if we talk of a PMOS, drain is always being at a lower potential with respect to source. So now, this is how we characterize this, and here we have a bulk. Now see this gap in between. This gap symbolizes the insulating layer. As we have seen in the MOS structure that between the metal and the semiconductor we have a silicon dioxide or the insulating layer in between, and that's why the gate is not directly being in touch with the source or drain region or the bulk region. There is a gap between that. So this is how we draw the NMOS symbol. There is another way also to draw its symbol. For the easiness, this symbol is also being used, where we are not using the bulk, or we can say that the bulk is supposed to be connected with the source, or the VSB effect is considered to be 0. So that's why we don't show this. Another way to draw this symbol is with the direction of the current flow. It's like this. This arrow at the source side, it represents the direction of the current flow. In the NMOS, current flows from drain to source, and that's why the arrow is pointing towards the source. Now reverse to this, PMOS will be symbolized as this. This bubble over here shows the inverted operation with respect to the NMOS, because both are the complementary device. NMOS behaves just in an inverted way of PMOS, or we can say the PMOS is a complementary device of NMOS. So this bubble over here symbolizes that it is a PMOS, or even we can say as PMOS operates on a negative voltage because it has a negative threshold voltage. So this bubble stands over here. Now similarly, if I'll draw it with respect to the symbol, so this is a symbol in which the current direction is shown. Now as I just said that PMOS has a current flow from source to drain, or we can say that PMOS is having a source at a higher potential and drain at a lower potential. So the arrow will point towards the drain side. So this is showing the current flow in the device. So this is how we symbolize it. But when we talk of a digital design, then these are the symbols which we use in the digital circuit design for NMOS and PMOS. They are this. These are the simple symbols which we use for the digital circuit design. So this is how we draw the symbol for the MOSFET. Now moving towards the structure of the MOSFET. When we draw the 2D structure of a MOSFET, it seems like this. This is a substrate which is a native wafer on which the device is formed. Suppose I'll take it as a P-type substrate. It means I am drawing this structure for a NMOS device. Two diffusion areas will be here, which will be N plus type. These diffusion areas will represent the source and drain region of the MOSFET. So this is a metal contact over here. This is suppose source. This side is drain. In between source and drain, we have a conducting channel being formed, which is given by L, means the gap or the distance between the source and drain. And above this we have a SiO2 layer, which is an insulating layer, and a metal gate. This is a metal gate. And here this is a bulk terminal. So this is how the structure, the 2D structure of a MOSFET seems to be. If we have to draw it for the PMOS, then this P substrate will be replaced by a N type of substrate or a N type silicon. These diffusion areas, rather than writing it here N plus, we will be depicting it by the P plus. Then this that structure will be well known for the PMOS structure. So now the structure and the symbol is clear to us. Now in the next we will be moving towards the current voltage model of the MOSFET. This current voltage model is basically the relationship between the current and voltage of the MOSFET, by which we will ensure that what actually is the input and output characteristic of the MOSFET and on which parameters that output characteristic depends upon. Now before moving to that, we must see over here that if we talk of a NMOS, in a NMOS, if I draw the output characteristic, which is also known as a drain characteristic, which is this is a output or drain characteristic. Why drain characteristics? Because we are drawing drain to source voltage, or I can say we are drawing drain current with respect to drain to source voltage. So it is also known as a drain characteristic, and output characteristic because VDS is termed as a output over here. Now if I draw it, then ideally it is drawn like this. This point from where the current starts to be constant, this is known as a pinch off point. This is a pinch off point. At this point, the voltage which the device will acquire is VDS saturation means this is that minimum voltage, that minimum drain to source voltage from where the saturation in the device will start. So up till here it's a linear region, this is a linear region, and this is a saturation region. And in the saturation region we have a maximum current flowing across the device. So this ideal saturation is the maximum current which we can attain from the MOSFET device. So this is that characteristic which we have to prove with respect to the current voltage equation, that what equation will be there which can set this characteristic in this pattern. So now we will be starting with this. Now this current voltage model of a MOSFET this is a very conventional, or we can say the first model of the current voltage. So that's why it is also known as a level 1 model, and this is a very approximate model. Now what is this model? Model basically is to give some expressions in terms of voltage, current and other parameters so that the behavior of the device can be justified by the help of those equations. That is a model. So when we model any device, then this model has a two type of parameters into it. One are the physical parameters and other are the empirical parameters. So physical parameters are those parameters which actually you can extract or derive, or they have a physical significance in the operation of the device. Like if I talk in the terms of MOSFET, we have IDS, we have VDS, we have VGS, threshold voltage, VT, there is a mobility, mu n or mu p depending upon n channel or p channel, we have the W width of the channel, we have L which is length of the channel, then C oxide and so on and so forth. So these are some list of parameters which actually exist by the dimension or by the fabrication of the parameter or by the working of the parameter. Sorry, by the working of the device. So these type of parameters are known as a physical parameters. So the modeling, if we do only with the physical parameters, is known as a physical modeling. So this is basically a types of parameters over here. Now when we talk of the empirical parameters means they don't have any exact mathematical calculation or derivation. They don't have any exact dimension into the device, but the device, the smooth operation of the device towards moving or tending towards its ideal characteristic, for the sake of that we add on some parameters into the current voltage or the equations or expressions of the device modeling, and these parameters are extracted from the number of experiments done in various environments, in various setups. Like when we will be talking of, say, if we talk of PN junction diode, then the equation stands for PN junction. It has a term e to the power kt by eta kt. Q by eta kt. So that eta over here is the empirical parameter in the diode. It does not have any actual physical significance. It does not have any formula of it. It cannot be derived or calculated, but it is on the basis of several sets of experiment performed, and from there it comes that if we propose any parameter in such way that it will give a more perfect operation of or the characteristic of the device, then it is put it into the equation. Similarly, when we talk of the MOSFET, then the empirical parameter comes directly into the first level. In the first level means the initial or the very basic model of the MOSFET, it too have a empirical parameter into it. Now if we talk of the model, just like we are going to discuss about the level 1 modeling. Level 1 is the very basic model, a conventional model which we say, which is very easy to derive by pen and paper, and it have nearly 7 to 8 parameters on which it is depending upon, and it can be calculated. But nowadays we are using level 54 and above. And these are those models, like this is the level is given on the complexity, by the increasing complexity. Increasing complexity means the more accurate result, the more number of parameters, more empirical, more physical parameters are included into the equation of the device. So when we are moving towards the level 54 or even further to this, it means we have more than 100 parameters or even more than that, which will satisfy a one single equation, and very difficult to be derived with pen and paper. So we only go for the first initial model, from where we have to see that how that output characteristic of the MOSFET comes. So we will start with this level 1 modeling. This is also known as a Fishman-Hodge model. Why? Because these are the two persons who have derived this model. So this model is on the name of these two scientists, Fishman and Hodge model. So I will start with this model, and before starting to this model, firstly we will see that how the channel actually looks like and what is happening in channel. Because in the entire MOSFET, whatever be the current is flowing, that is flowing into the channel. So channel is of the utmost importance, and we have to look that what actually is happening in the channel. So if I consider, suppose I consider a channel in such a way. See, suppose this is a 3D view of a channel, and it has a length L. This side, say we have a drain terminal, here we have a source terminal, and the width of this channel is W, and the thickness of this channel is suppose given by T suffix CH. This is the thickness of the channel, and I am considering again here the NMOS device. Okay. See, source is suppose at a ground potential. Here we have some potential, say VDS into it. Okay. And here I will place one boundary limit. This in the X direction. From the starting point of the channel, which is towards the source side, I take X equals to 0. At the ending point of the channel, at the drain side, I take X equals to L. Okay. Now considering like say some points in the channel, suppose I consider here some point A, here will be some point B, say some voltage or the potential is there, say V of X is there. So what we will be saying, previously we have seen that VGS is given as phi ms minus Q oxide upon C oxide plus 1 upon C oxide. This is a formula which we have seen during the discussion of the threshold voltage. So it's the same formula which I am writing over here. You can have a look from your previous lecture notes. And now obviously this term, this is over here. Why? Because this Qn is the inversion charge density. Now if the MOSFET is in a conducting state, then we will be using it. Now this was the equation when we were considering VDS equals to 0. We have not considered any drain to source voltage till we were deriving the expression for the threshold voltage. So at that time, drain to source voltage assumed to be 0. But now, when we are assuming that there is a certain drain to source voltage applied, then what will happen? If I consider here that this is 0, it means drain and source both are at the same potential. So at any point in the channel, the potential will be same. It is not going to be changed. And that's why this equation fits. That yes, this is gate to source voltage. But now, if I am going to have some finite potential over here, then what will happen? The potential at point A, which is near to the source, will be different. Potential at B will be different. Similarly here, here and here. Anywhere if I will take a potential, it will have some difference from the earlier one. So now there will be a one additional term which will come into this equation, and that will be plus V of x. This is an additional term. This is because of the potential difference at any point in the channel, and this occurs due to the applied drain to source voltage, which was earlier not considered, and now we are considering it, because now we have to draw the output characteristic, and output characteristic means it should be drawn with the increasing drain to source voltage. So we have to apply some finite voltage at the drain. So moving further, now see, if I draw a graph with respect to x and VDS, or I can say rather VDS, some value V of x, VDS will be a one value at any x potential, I get this type of a curve. This is say some value where this x equals to L, and at this we have here VDS. So you can see from here, as the VDS is increasing, so as the L is also having a change. Or we can say, as the x is moving from 0 to L, then the VDS, the voltage is also increasing, and that's why we have added that term Vx into the equation. So now that equation which I have just written, it is basically VGS equals to VT. Now rather than writing VT naught every time, I am just considering it as a VT. You can see here that this is basically VT naught, and I am taking it like this. I am writing it VT. Just for the simplicity of the writing, I am doing that. Plus the term Vx which we have added, plus Qn by C oxide. So this is what the VGS equation is, which we have just written. Now we know from here, from this equation, we can write it as Qn is C oxide VGS minus VT minus V oxide. This can be written like this. Now what is this Qn basically? How we can define this Qn? Qn is, as we know, Qn is a inversion charge density or the channel charge density, and it is given as Q into small ns, where this ns is electron density per unit area. This is how we define this n suffix s. This is the electron density per unit area, and so the inversion charge density is given as Q into ns, where small q is the electronic charge over here. So now moving further, rather than considering the complete channel, I will take a elementary volume out of this. Suppose I am taking it from here. See, I will cut a one elementary volume from this. Suppose this I have cut it out. This is of a, say, dx thickness. I am cutting this. Of a dx thickness, and this is my in place. If I will be able to find out the characteristic of the channel for this elementary volume, that will be remain for the entire channel. So I will be doing for this. Now suppose I'll take a one parameter, say let's dr. dr is the resistance of this elementary volume. dr is resistance of elementary volume taken from this entire channel. Okay, so now we know how the resistance is noted down. It's rho into L by A. So here we are considering a channel, so the resistivity of the channel into, now we are not taking a complete L or the complete length of the channel, we are only considering here a small piece from here, a segment of a channel. So this will be dx, and the width of the channel is W now, and this is the, so this is how the area of the channel will be defined, W into TCH. Now over here, this channel resistivity, this will be given as 1 upon Q, because it's a NMOS we are considering. So the mobility of the electrons into, say, this NV. What is this NV over here? This NV will be stated as, this is the volume concentration of inversion carriers. This is the volume concentration of inversion carriers. Yes. So this can be given as NS, which we have just defined, and NS upon TCH. So I'll just remove this diagram. Hope everybody has drawn this. So now see how we I can write this again. So now this can be written as, now replacing the rho by this and NV by NS by TCH, I'll be writing it as 1 upon Q mu N NS by TCH into dx upon W into this. Fine. So this is what the resistance of that elementary volume of thickness dx will be, of a length. Okay. Now here this will be cancelled out. So the remaining which we will get from this is dx upon Q mu N NS. So this is what left with us. Okay. So now moving further, this dr will be stated as dx upon Q mu N Qn. Qn is again that inversion charge density, and this will be given by this NS. Sorry, I think so I have mistaken. This will be mu N Qn into term. This is how we will be writing this. Now I take a one new term over here. I'll introduce a one term dV. dV is the it is the voltage drop across the element of dx, which we have taken from the entire channel. So this is how we can define the dV. So this dV, which we have introduced a new term, this is the voltage drop across the element of dx, which we have taken a one segment from the channel itself. And as this is a voltage drop, so obviously it will be denoted by I into R. Now I over here is the current flowing across the channel, which is denoted as drain to source current. And dr is the resistance across that dx element. And just now we have proved that dr is having a value equal to dx upon mu n w qn. So we will be replacing over here. And in the initial time we have seen that this qn is equal to this C oxide into VGS minus VT minus V of x. So I will be replacing Qn by this equation and rewriting the equation, taking IDS on a one side and all other terms on the other side. So this will be shown as So this will be written like this. I have substituted this equation in place of Qn and then taking IDS on a left hand side and all other terms on a right hand side. Now this seems to be an equation which have some current voltage relationship, but still here we have some terms like V of x, it's not a defined term, it is not having some set value. Then these derivatives, we should get rid of these also so that a one fixed certain equation can come to us. So further what we will be doing, we will integrate this equation and putting the boundary limits of channel, like dx, x we have started from 0 towards the source side and we have taken it till drain side where we have denoted x equals to L. So this will have a boundary limit from 0 to L, which is a entire channel length. This mu n, C oxide and W, this will be a constant terms. And over here for V of x, again this was varying from source to drain. So source was ground which we have considered and drain is having some particular potential VDS. So again the limit to this term will be 0 to VDS. So this will be given like this. So it will be written like this. Now further integrating this, we will be getting IDS equals to, here there will be L, so that L I will take it over here. It will be now noted down as this W by L, and integrating this term and placing the limits into it, this will be resulting into VGS minus VT into VDS minus. So this is a very important equation. This equation is an equation for the MOSFET current with respect to the voltages applied into the MOSFET, where VGS is the input voltage because we apply a gate input voltage from the gate, VDS is the output voltage, and it is also dependent upon the channel width and the channel length, which is W by L. It is also dependent upon the oxide capacitance. It is also dependent upon the mobility of the carrier in the channel. So there are certain parameters. Now if we will be looking out this, there is no parameter which does not have any physical significance or which cannot be defined or derived. So this is having totally physical parameters. So this is a physical model. This is a physical model. Now when I will be drawing this, the curve for this equation, then see what happens to this. This is a quadratic equation in terms of VDS. So when I am going to draw this and taking VGS constant, I will be drawing it. I will be drawing it with VGS constant at some value. It may be any value. You can suppose 4 volt, 5 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt. It's up to you. But we have to just see that what behavior it will give when I will plot a graph for that. Now when I will be fixing the VGS and plotting the curve, then what I will be getting from here? I will get some points like this. And when I will be meeting these points, this will go like this. And it comes here. But actually what we have? We have this type of a curve. If we are keeping the VGS constant, we should get this type of a curve with VGS constant. But because it's a quadratic equation in terms of VDS with respect to IDS, so this will show some parabolic type of a figure. And this point from where the values start decreasing, this is a pinch off point, or this is known as a point where the VDS reaches its saturation level, and this is known as a IDS saturation. So basically this is an actual curve. This is an actual characteristic, and we are getting this from this equation. It means this portion need to be taken care of. This is not an actual characteristic of a MOSFET, because MOSFET actual characteristic says that as the pinch off point or the saturation drain to source voltage equals to the saturation drain to source voltage, then the device curve should be flat, means the current should be free of this VDS value. There should not be any effect of the increasing VDS to the IDS. So further we have to modify this equation, which will satisfy this actual curve of the MOSFET. So this is an equation which is actually satisfying this half curve, which is a linear curve of this, a linear region of the device. So this equation is known as a current equation of a linear region. So this is a current equation of a linear region, means half of the characteristic is satisfied by this region, and for the next half characteristic, which is a saturation region, we will modify this equation. And the modification should be done in such a way that this IDS equation should get rid of this VDS terminologies, because then only the curve of the MOSFET seems like this. It should have a flat curve in the saturation region. So we will do some more mathematics into it, and we will see that how this IDS equation will get rid of this VDS term. Now before moving towards that equation, firstly we should know that this curve which we have drawn, I will redraw this curve over here, VDS and IDS. If I will be drawing this curve for the MOSFET, the slope of this curve will be del IDS upon del VDS. This is the slope of this curve. And if I am going to talk if I am going to calculate for this, then just now we have seen the equation of the IDS. If I differentiate that equation with respect to VDS, it will come out as mu and C oxide W by L VGS minus VT minus VGS. This is what we are getting the slope of this curve. But now when I talk of the saturation region shows the flat line. Flat line means zero curve. There should be zero curve. It means in the saturation region, del IDS upon del VDS should have a zero value. Now if I look to this, there is no such figure which will give us a zero value. Mobility cannot be zero. Oxide capacitance, the width and length of the device, obviously these cannot be zero. These are a dimension related term. Threshold voltage, it will not be zero. We are considering the NMOS, it has some positive threshold voltage. The applied gate voltage, obviously not zero, because this should either be equal to threshold voltage or more than that if the device is in a conducting region. And this drain to source voltage, it can also not be zero, because if it will be zero, no, we will be getting no current over there. So now what to do in order to achieve this? So for achieving this, what we will be doing, we will consider that the VDS at its saturation point, from where the edge of saturation starts, we place it equal to VGS minus VT. This is quite possible. There may be a time or when the value of this drain to source voltage will get equal to the value of VGS minus VT. This is quite possible, and this is actually, it is true. So when we will be placing this value in the current equation. The current equation in the linear region came out as this. I am rewriting it. Now when I place this VDS equals to VGS minus VT, this equation will be written for now saturation, because this is the value of a VDS saturation. Or I will increase a one term, one step for the easiness of understanding. So okay. So firstly we will write it like this, because now we are writing for the saturation region. So the current equation for the saturation will be written this, and now in the place of this VDS saturation I will be putting VGS minus VT, and then we will see that what is happening to the final equation of the current. So this IDS in the saturation region will be written as this is VDS saturation, so this is replaced by VGS minus VT. Then we have a VDS saturation square, so this will be VDS minus VT whole square by 2. So the final equation can be written as this will be a square of VGS minus VT, so we will be left with half VGS minus VT whole square. So now have a look on this equation. Now automatically we have just derived that now the saturation current equation is free of that term VDS, which was a trouble for us. Now when we plot for this, then obviously when it is free of the term VDS and when we are plotting for the constant VGS, then the curve seems like this. Then we will be having this type of curve for some constant or the fixed value of VGS. So now we have derived the model 1 or the Sichmann-Horst model, where there are two equations one satisfying the linear region characteristic and the other equation satisfying the saturation current characteristic. And yes, few new terms we have seen. We will be talking of that also. Here is a one term noted as mu and C oxide. This is known as a transconductance parameter. This is given by Kn in the case of NMOS. If we have a PMOS, then this will be K suffix P and this will be written as mu P C oxide. This W by L, this is known as a aspect ratio. This ratio is known as the aspect ratio. This is the width to length ratio of the channel. So now we can write our both equation as IDS linear will be written as Kn into W by L VGS minus VT into VDS minus VDS square by 2. This is the linear current equation in of a level 1 model, and the saturation current equation is Kn by 2 W by L VGS minus VT whole. Okay, so this is how we say that this is a level 1 modeling of the MOSFET. Now from here we can also look to two new parameters. One which is very important is known as a transconductance of the device. Transconductance, it is denoted by small g with a suffix small m, and it is defined as change in output current with respect to change in input voltage with output voltage treating as constant. Means in the case of MOSFET we will be given as change in drain current with respect to change in gate voltage at drain voltage constant. So if I will be talking of the GM saturation, looking from this equation, if I differentiate this saturation current equation with respect to VGS, I will be getting the transconductance of the saturation region, and that transconductance is Kn into W by L into VDS saturation. This VGS minus VT, I am writing it as a VDS saturation. Similarly, when I will find it for the linear region. Then this will come as into VDS, some function of this. Okay. So now from here you can see that this drain to source voltage in the saturation region is obviously a higher value than the drain to source voltage in the linear region. We have seen this from the curve also, output characteristic also. So this states that for the MOSFET, GM saturation is always greater than the GM linear. Means the transconductance of the MOSFET in saturation region is always greater than the transconductance of the MOSFET in the linear region. So where this is important? When we are talking of the analog circuit design, then this is very important, because this transconductance, this is a parameter which is proportional to the gain, voltage gain of the device. And obviously when we are designing the analog circuits or the analog systems, this voltage gain is the main or the prime parameter. This has to be high for each analog circuit, and this will be only possible when the transistors or the drivers used in the circuit are moving or are working in a saturation region. So this is a very important parameter to be considered. Next we have another parameter which we were considering for the calculation of the current equation in the saturation region, that is del IDS upon del VDS. This is under the VGS constant. This is known as a drain conductance, which is a slope of the output characteristic. So this is denoted by small g with the suffix small d. So this is a drain conductance of the device. This will have a higher value in the linear region, yes, because it has a linear slope into it, and in the saturation region it results into 0. But okay, so for today we have seen lot many things. We have derived the level 1 model, we have derived the linear current equation, we have derived saturation current equation. We have seen that what are the parameters on which the linear and saturation current is dependent upon. We have also discussed about the drain conductance and the transconductance of the MOSFET. So in total, this is a complete level 1 model of the device.